think the fanciest card we opened was the signed... there we go. I think that's the fanciest set we opened. The signed full art Captain Camille upgrade. So that means that we're going to start by making a Captain Camille deck. So we've obviously got our persona. We then need 40 cards and 5 platforms. So I don't know if we can duplicate platforms, but we did open multiple copies, 2 copies of the Captain Camille specific platform. But I think given that you only have 5 platforms, you have to pick different ones. So that's one of our platforms that we're definitely picking. When opposing content cards leave this platform, you gain 1 bit. So I think we just want to be dominating. So I think the one where you have more popularity is better, because it's easier for you to dominate a place. It's easier for you to dominate a platform when you're there for longer. I don't know if any of the other ones... Clash reward, you may remove 1 opposing popularity from another platform. That seems pretty good for this, actually, because while you're dominating, you can specifically try and dominate this one, and if you do it for your 2 rounds, you can then help slow down your opponents on the other platforms. So that seems good. I'm also going to move this to the top because I am going to build an Avi deck as one of my others. If you have less subscribers than your opponent, gain 2 bits. I think I want one of the ones where it's just like 3. You gain 3 influence during your next clash round as your clash reward. That's probably a good one. You may return a content card with 2 or less to play to its owner's hand. I think those might just be the choices. We can go and have a look at the old platforms as well, but I think those... delete all of your content cards on this platform. I think these might be my 5 choices, but we'll have a look through the old set, see if I can find any platforms in this pile. Oh, yeah. I have found the platforms. And that might just be the whole pile of platforms. I don't know if there's going to be more in this pile, but I think that might just be all of them. I have a fancy Tender Mamie. Why do I not have the fancy Tender Mamie in... Oh, because I've got the convention-specific version. Yes, that's why. That's why I don't have it where it is. I realise there's an easier way for looking for platforms because I can literally flip the entire pile over and then I'm looking for light blue borders. That would be the smart way of doing this. Where I can just be like, yes, view the entire pack this way round, because spotting light blue borders is much easier than trying to read cards on the front, whereas I was flipping them this way and being like, what's on the side? What's sideways? And it's like, flip them over, look at the back. They're all different colours. So yeah, this is our pile of old ones. So there is a 4 popularity one here with Phase Weekly, but it isn't independent, so I'm a bit like... Because I don't think any of these are independent. Oh yeah, Jorts actually is. In which case, maybe we do put the other independent there and we kind of make it independent specific. Maybe we want some of the independent ones. Clash reward. You may move one of your popularity from another platform to this platform without triggering its clash reward. I don't know if that's good. Maybe it's good. copy the clash reward of another platform in play. You may delete one content card with 2 or less in play. That's kind of good. And then that. You remove one of your opponent's popularity from another platform. I think those might just be the choices. When you play a content card, no. You remove one of your content cards from this platform to another platform. Yeah. And then there's specific characters, specifics. Okay, we'll put the other platforms over here. I realise that I wanted Vespers to stay at the top, so what I actually needed to do was that. So now all of our platforms are in one pile. I think these are the 5 we're picking. So, given that Camille's whole thing with this is her and her 2 upgrades, her whole thing is while you're dominating a platform, she gets more influence. So you want to kind of like dominate one of the platforms and then use that to give you advantages on other things. So the platforms I've gone for are obviously her specific platform, the BB Nightingale, which has 400,000 subscribers when you win it, has 3 popularity, and has, whenever an opposing content card leaves this platform, you gain 1 bit. That's kind of what she specifically does. A bunch of her cards will be removing opponents' platforms, removing opponents' contents. So that's pretty good. And that's her specific one, so always good to play their specific one. You've then got Udrops, which is just an independent, but it's got 4 and gives 600,000, so that's pretty nice. Gets you most of the way towards winning a game. And you can just kind of sit and hold it for a bit. We then got Weekly Phase, which is another independent for influence, 4 popularity to get 600,000, which again, great towards winning a game. We then got Historical Lion, which is not an independent, but the Clash reward is 400,000, gives you 3. Maybe we don't want this one then, because it's only 300,000. Maybe it'll be fine. Maybe we do pick something else. We'll have a look at it. You may delete one content card with 2 or less in play, and that's the one where you can remove an opposing popularity from another platform, which is potentially much better than the alternatives, which were going to be like return a content card with mana value 2 or less to its owner's hand. That might actually be fine. That might actually be fine instead of Web Flip. Yeah, we'll put Media Flare there instead. Okay, so those are our platforms chosen. That is our persona chosen. We now have purple cards and Poggers cards to get 40 cards out of. So we've got 1, 2, and we want to kind of build up like a cost range. So obviously 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s. Upgrades be expensive. So we can run any of these cards, but ideally we're looking for... We'll do a pass through, look for Camille specific cards. And then we'll do a pass through looking for like ones that will help you dominate. So that's one that will help you dominate. So we'll just grab that out for the moment. Camille specific cards. I don't think I opened any other than like her upgrades and things. While that seems like a Camille specific card, it is just like a... It is an opponent is dominating this platform. And there's a Camille upgrade. There's a Camille upgrade. There's a Camille upgrade, so we've got the full 4 copies of the Camille upgrade. I think that was all the Camille specific things. Yes. So we've got 4 copies of that upgrade. I need to double check that it is 4 copies of a card. Sorry, we're going to... A little bit of a shuffle around. We're all good. Okay, I want to double check if it is Oshi Push deck building limits. Building a deck. You choose your persona. You select. You may not include more than 3 copies of any single card in your draw deck, so I can only run 3 copies of this upgrade. So we're going to run the fancy one and 2 regulars, obviously. I didn't open any other versions of the big upgrade, so that can go off there because we know we can't run it. This is then a Dominating Matters card, so yes. Build your platform deck. Your platform deck must consist of exactly 5 platform cards with no duplicates allowed. Cool, so we did get that right. We can't run the other Camille specific copy that we got. Different shapes are associated with different colours for colourblind accessibility. So red is diamonds, green is squares, purple is circles. Yes, yes it is. We like that. We love colourblind accessibility. Select cards. For your draw deck, you can add any number that match the colour, genre, or both of your persona to your draw deck. So that's poggers, purples, or both. Purple poggers cards, which is what we're on at the moment. Draw deck should include 3 types of cards: actions, upgrades, and contents, and now also cameos, because cameos are also a thing. The exact number of each will change based on your strategy. Yes. That's basically it. That's the deck building section. Your deck must have exactly 40 cards. Your draw deck must have exactly 40 cards, not including your persona. So your persona is the 41st card. Your platforms are the 42nd, 46th card, if you want to look at it that way. Okay, so this Parasocial Sunday really does nothing for this. I think we want to start looking at... We're going to go to the other piles. We're going to look at the purple cards that want to care about you dominating. See if there are any out there. When played, each player chooses 1 content card on this platform. Delete all other content cards on this platform. I kind of want that. Not that fussed about putting Daisy in this deck. So I'm looking through the other piles specifically for purple cards because they're the ones I can bring in. To see if there are any that seem useful. Okay, only really the touch grass from the creative pile. Let's go into the Zatsudan pile and see if there are any cool purples that care about deleting cards. Captain Camille decks only. Specific Vaseline on Toast. I think we've got multiple copies of that. Yeah, 2 copies of Vaseline on Toast. While you are dominating this platform, you gain +3 for each adjacent platform. +3 influence to each adjacent platform. Play only during a chat. 1 content card loses 4 influence this clash. Then if it has 0, delete it. Cage chat works kind of well in this deleting, dominating deck. For a 5 cost, yeah. No. No. I don't know why I was looking at that card anyway, I couldn't play it. That was line 2 deck only, that one I can't replay. Delete all content cards on this platform with 6 or less cost. Well, I've got 2 content cards with 6 or less cost. But I can kind of use those to be like I move over to a new platform and just be like, get rid of all of your stuff. Get out of here. And then I start coming in and playing my own stuff. Whenever you move one of your content cards from this platform to another... No. Second copy of Cage Chat. I think that's all of the Zatsudan cards that I would want to run. Have another look at, or have a look at the experience cards. See if there are any ones that care about dominating or deleting. An opponent played 1 or more content cards to this platform. Flip it, return one of the opponent's cards. Move 1 opposing popularity from another platform to this platform. That might be useful for this deck, just to be like, I'm trying to slow them down from winning the other platforms. So if I can pull, remove the top, reel the top card of your, reel the top card of your deck. Return an opposing content card with cost less than or equal to the card, to that card's cost to its owner's hand. Play only during a clash. Your opponent can't gain popularity this clash. Kind of good for slowing down my opponents. Yeah. Okay. So far that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've still got like 26 picks. So I guess we're going to go back into... Yeah, we're going to go back into the... Sorry, my brain got real sidetracked there. We're going to go back into the Poggers cards, and I guess we're just going to grab stuff that looks like some of the lower end. Maybe, do we want the lower end, or do we want to use Vine Boom properly and get more high-end stuff? I don't know. If an opponent has, so when played, if an opponent has more popularity than you on this platform, you gain 1 popularity on this platform. Has potential. When clashing on this platform, action cards cost 1. Oh right, I should look at all the old cards. Hang on. Before I come back to this, I should go through the pile behind me that's full of old cards. Because there's probably cards in there that delete things. So we're looking at not personas. We want to put all the personas in their own little space off at the side. I realise that something that I'm doing is putting those the wrong way around. Want to put all the personas off to a side. And again, I realise I could do this much easier if I just flipped the pack over and pulled out all of the yellows. Because if I flip... Sorry, I'm going through this huge pile. This isn't like... This is like a third of the pile. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. I will hydrate in just a moment. But my gosh, did I need it. So thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going through a big pile, taking out all the personas because I can't play them in this deck anyway. Or in the other deck that I'm going to be building. But I'm going through this part of the pile and this part of the pile to get all the personas. I'm going to grab a quick hydrate. Thank you, Hayden. Ah, much appreciated. And then we can go through and doing it again. Looking at the fronts of cards to find other personas, and it's like I can look at the backs of cards. I can find personas by looking at the back of the card. Somehow in Oshi Push, the back of the card explains the card. Whereas in Magic the Gathering, you have to read the card to explain the card. Fancy upgrade. The back of the card explains the card. Weirdly enough. And then once we've gone through like this, we can then split these down into their sets. And then we can do what we did with the new cards, where we go through all the purples of the different types. So this is all the personas I was trying to dig out. We got a couple of fancy ones, some, like all the con exclusive ones that I got. And then a couple of other fancy ones like the Alt Arts. The fancy Midori Tenma. Then I think that's just the fancy one that I got. I got the con exclusives, and then I got the fancy Tenma. That was kind of it. There we go. We can now put these at the back of this pile, and then we can put our new ones at the front, and then we can put the platforms up on top of those, because those are out at the side for deck building purposes. Slide these up for the moment, while we split these into their respective piles. So Zatsudan, 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 these might all just be Zatsudans for a moment. Those certainly were all Zatsudans, Poggers. Had I already partially split them into their own sets anyway? Maybe. Maybe I had. And now I'm coming back and being like, why are all of these not all split into sets? And it's like, they were. And then you went through the pile backwards and broke them down into chunks that then aren't split into types. Because you're a silly. And you didn't realise that you'd already sorted them. And you thought you'd just dumped a bunch of cards in a box. Which admittedly I kind of had. But there was some degree of sense to how I dumped them in the box. However, these are then all the promo ones, so these are all going to be not sorted now. Okay, there we go. Again, looking at these piles, I had a way more Poggers card than I had in anything else. Okay, so we're going to do the same again, where we're going to go through all the sets. We're going to look at all the purples, and we're going to see if any of the purples in these sets are like Oh, that's an upgrade. That's what I was like, why does this card say Rinko Ashilia so many times when it's not limited to being a Rinko Ashilia card? It's because it is. It's an upgrade for a Rinko. Which is like, right, yes, that is then how that works. Clash reward, draw a card, then discard a card. Not terrible. Reduce the influence cost of one of your opponent's content cards on this platform to 0. Tempting. Diss tracks are certainly tempting. Craft show. Players can't play more than one content card per round while this card is in play. It's kind of hateful, and that's kind of what this deck wants to be doing, is being kind of hateful. For each influence spent on to play this card, choose one opposing content on this platform to lose 3 influence this clash. Just grab 3 copies of that. It's kind of hateful, but that's kind of what we want to be doing. Background dogs barking. Move your persona to this platform. Play only during a clash. Oh, it's a discard to move your persona to this platform. Maybe. When played, your opponent's content cards on this platform lose 2 influence this round. That should be really good. Adpocalypse. Then we go to the Poggers cards. We have a look at all the Poggers. All the purple Poggers. Delete 1 content card with 3 cost or less. Desk Slam. I don't know if I have more Desk Slams. Oh, this. When played, if this is on an independent platform, delete one of your opposing content cards on any platform. So that is one of the ones that cared about independence, and I did pick the 2 big independents, so they're the ones that I want to be like trying to dominate. In which case, Mahjong Tournament's actually really good. When played, spend X. Delete 1 opposing content card on this platform with X or less. Toxic Gaming. Oh, there's another Mahjong Tournament. Bum, 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 bum. Wow. Big cheese. Big cheese. I realise that I'm looking at all of them like here and you guys can't see them. Not very fun content for you when I'm just getting way too focused on deck building. This is what happens when I'm playing Magic. I just get way too focused on deck building. And then everyone else has to sit there and be like, what's happening? I can't tell. Sorry, so I put 2 Mahjong tournaments in, which is 7 cost Poggers contents with 10 influence. And when they're played, if this is played on an independent platform, which 2 of the big platforms that I picked, 2 of the Phase Weekly and UJorps, which are the 600,000 subscriber ones with 4 popularity to win them, so they're the ones that I'm going to be trying to dominate, are both independents. So they both care about this. But when this is played, it deletes 1 opposing content on any platform. So they're pretty good. I then also added a Toxic Gaming, which is a 2 cost content. Cheese! Highlight your message, cheese! I approve of you highlighting the cheese. Big cheese. But yeah, Toxic Gaming is a 2 cost, 4 influence content, and when it's played, you spend X bits, and then you delete an opponent's content on this platform with X or less cost. So it deletes opponent's stuff. That's kind of what I'm going for, is deleting opponent's stuff. And then I also went for Desk Slam, which is an action Poggers, 2 cost, delete one of your opponent's contents costing 3 or less. Because if we're just doing nothing but deleting all of our opponent's stuff, it's still going to be funny and kind of silly. When played, if this is an independent platform, move one of your popularity to another platform, from another platform to this platform. Maybe? Maybe we have big head moments? Move your persona or content cards from this platform to another platform. Then if your persona is... no. More big head moments. Disruption stream. The active is spend 3 bits. Your opponents remove one of their popularities from this platform and select another platform to place it on. No, probably not. Controlling the narrative. Move one of your opponent's popularity from this platform to another platform. Again, probably not. How have I not seen this Pippa upgrade? I have this Pippa upgrade. Why have I not looked at it properly? Eat a spider. Chew on cables. Bunch of Pippa specific cards. Another disruption screen. Ad break. An 8 cost 15 influence Zatsuden content. When played, delete one opposing non-Zatsuden content card in play. I'm just playing all of the really big remove your opponent's stuff cards. Zatsuden content. Delete one of your opponent's content cards on this platform with 5 influence or less. Edgelord behavior. I think Edgelord behavior is one of the ones that I put in my Rinka Ashilia deck. I think I have a fancy Edgelord behavior, so I might be able to move the Edgelord behaviors over to this deck. Drop the call. You may play this card on any platform. Control the narrative, play as during clash, move the opponent's... Dropping call. There's another Edgelord behavior. Another potion there. Okay, going into the last section. There was a bunch of delete cards in this. When played, if this card is played on an independent platform, move all opposing content cards from this platform to another platform. Why are you there? You should be over here. You should be there. Succumb to cringe. Return one content... Sorry. Succumb to cringe. 2 cost action experience. Return one content card with 3 or less to its owner's hand. Confessional stream. When played, play one of your other content cards. Gains +4 influence this round. Maybe? When played, you may return one content card from this platform to its owner's hand. Steal 1 popularity at this platform. Parasocial trap. Yell at fish is a Tenma Mimi specific card, so I can't play it, unfortunately. I would love to yell at fish in this deck, but it was not meant to be. I'm not allowed to yell at a fish in this deck. Choose an opposing... choose an opposing content card on this platform to lose 4 influence this turn. At the start of your refresh phase, if your persona is Utatane Nasa, you may return this card to your hand, which she won't be. Maybe confessional streams are worth it? Return this card to the top of your... Oh, sorry, so content experience. Return this card to the top of your deck. Return 1 content card with cost 2 or less on this platform to its owner's hand. Maybe that's fine? Maybe that's fine. Nope, there's another Succumb to Cringe. Another Yell at Fish. Both of my Yell at Fishes are shiny. Okay, I think that is... I don't know how many cards that is actually. Let's put these Series 1 cards, Gen 1 cards behind Gen 2. we are making ourselves big old piles of cards. Big old piles of cards. And then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we need another 11 cards. And currently it is all purple. Mostly Poggers and Zatsudans, I think. With some experience and a tiny little splash of creative here and there. Oh, and at the top end. We're going to have another quick look at our Rinkershilia deck. Because my brain is now going, what did I put in this deck? So my platforms were, you may play one content card on this platform, you may play one content card on this platform, you may move one content card from this platform, return one content card from your trash to your hand, and the Rinkershilia specific content cards cost 1 less to play. So hers was content card specific. That's kind of funny. Of just like, your opponents can't gain popularity here. So you're going to dominate this just because they can't do anything about it. That's an upgrade. The diss tracks are kind of funny. Do I have 4 copies of diss track there? Yeah, I'm only meant to have 3. Whoops. When played, if you're dominating this platform, you may delete a content card from this platform with 5 or more. So realistically, I actually want to play both of those in this deck as well. Because this is going to be my dominate deck. Opposing content cards on this platform lose 2. Dog food regret. Yeah, Christmas special, I think, with the silly things. Is a creative content with costs 3. Whenever you play a content card with costs 4 or more on this platform, gain a bit. It's just like, yeah, just play all the really big expensive ones here. And get more bits. Here we go, there's the fancy con-exclusive edgelord behaviour. And now this deck also now has 3 edgelord behaviours, so this deck is now more correct. Because apparently I was really not running this deck correctly. I hadn't actually played it yet, I just had copies 4 of. Move your persona to this platform, debut stream. Just a 1-drop 2 cost. Apparently. Yes. Yeah, so this is a bit more accurate now. I could put the con-exclusive diss track in here as well. And then maybe run the other 2 diss tracks. We're going to very briefly just be like, yeah, purple action that can only be played during a clash reduces the influence cost of one opponent's content on this platform to 0. So it's very much, oh, you tried to take this off me. No, no. No, no, no. And then year 0 science is your opponents can't gain popularity here. So I will just forever be dominating that platform until it's gone. So I know there are more diss tracks. So I can go and grab 2 more diss tracks. There's one. Oh, was there only one other one? Oh, no? That was all the old cards. Maybe there was only one other one. I guess so. I guess so. Okay, let's have a look through. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 2, 4, 5. So we need 5 more cards. Realistically, I want to try and get some 4s. Probably. Yes, some more 4s, I think, realistically. Oh, your opponent chooses one of their content cards on this platform. Delete it. It goes in the 6-drop slot. You may move one of your content cards from this platform. Yes, an opponent is dominating this platform. When flipped, delete one opposing content card on this platform. Chat control. We must chat control everything. This card costs 1 less to play for each content you have in play. Delete one content card. Its controller reveals cards from the top of their library. From the top of their deck until they reveal a content card. So maybe we grab another one of those. Maybe we want children's games. Have another gacha pool. Your other content cards on this platform can't be deleted by opposing effects. The pro gamer moved to be like, no, stop it. Yes, so I've just added 5 new cards, so I'd need to remove 2 of them to put these children's games in. If I wanted to run the children's games, which I don't know if I do or not. Are there any cheap ones that allow me to cheat? I guess the gacha pull allows me to cheat the big influences in. The big contents. Because it allows me to just be like, oh yeah, you know these really cheap ones? Yeah, I just get rid of one of those and then go to the next one. So maybe I want some of these cheap ones. Of course they make deck only. Flip condition, an opponent has a content card with 4 or more on this platform. Not terrible. Yeah. What was the one that I was like, that's not terrible. This. Maybe? No, I think I'm actually good with what I've got. I think this is an okay deck. So that's actually a 6-drop, which is why I put it there, and that's technically a 9-drop, so it should really be there. Just sliding them off the board. Out of screen. Yeah, I think this deck is fine. I could probably just leave this up. I think we're good to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 40. And then we begin sleeving. So we've got, I'll sleeve and deck list them all as we go. So we've got 1 first date. So content experience in purple, costs 1, 3 influence. It has an active, or return this card to the top of your deck. Return 1 content card with cost 2 or less on this platform to its opponent's hand. So it can be used to bounce my own, or it can be used to bounce my opponent's. But it can be used to reset the chat control. We also got Add Apocalypse. 1 cost creative content, cost 3 influence. When played, 1 opposing content card on this platform loses 2 influence this round. We then got Chat Control, which is our only premium content. Cost 2, 3 influence. The flip condition is an opponent is dominating this platform, because we want to be dominating. So if they're dominating something, we can be like, okay, put this down. You dominating? I flip it over, as I demonstrated there by just flicking it into my own face. And when it flips, it deletes one of your opponent's content cards on this platform. We then got 3 copies of Edgelord Behaviour, which is a content Zatsudan, cost 2, 3 influence. When played, delete 1 opposing content card on this platform that costs 5 or less influence. And we've got 3 copies of that, so we've got the other 2 here. We've then got a Desk Slam. We've got a Desk Slam. Delete 1 content card with, it's an action, costs 2. Delete 1 content card, costs 3 or less. So I can use it to blow up my opponent's stuff. We've got a Toxic Gaming, which is the content that when it's played you can spend an amount of bits to delete one of your opponent's content cards. Twitch is running ads, but then you're going to miss some of my deck tech. We've got 2 Cage Chats. If I had a third one of these, I'd be pretty happy. Play only during a clash, they're an action. 1 content card loses 4 influence. If it goes down to 0, you delete it. And I've got 2 copies of that. I've then also got 2 copies of Succumb to Cringe, which is an action that costs 2. You return 1 content card with cost 3 or less to its owner's hand. We're running 2 copies of that. We're then running 2 copies of Diss Track, which is another action, play only during your clash. Costs 3, reduce the influence cost of one of your opponent's contents down to 0, which means then things like Cage Chat deletes it. So we've got a couple of ways of reducing them to 0 so that Cage Chat deletes them. We've got 2 copies of Diss Track. We've then got 2 copies of Sweaty Gaming, which is another content. Costs 3, 5 influence. When played, if you are dominating this platform, you may delete 1 content card on this platform with 5 or more cost. So if I'm dominating, I can make sure that I keep dominating, is basically what that says. We then got 1 copy of Boy Mode, which play only during a clash. Costs 3, your opponents can't gain popularity this clash. 1 copy of Seriyun, the Cameo. Costs 3, gives +1 bit, which is what I need because some of my deck is a bit expensive. When you are dominating this platform, your persona gets +2 influence. That seems like a really good card. We then have 3 copies of the Captain Camille First Step upgrade, including our very, very fancy version. So costs 3, gives 4 bits for influence. You may delete one of your opponent's content cards when you play it that costs 2 or less. When you're dominating, she gets +3 influence, and you can discard the upgrade to move your persona. I then have 1 copy of Pro Gaming, which is a content, costs 4, 6 influence. Your other content cards on this platform cannot be deleted by opponent's effect. I kind of want another one of these just to protect my own board. We have a Gacha Pull, which I can use to trade one of my weak contents for one of my expensive ones, or I can use it to trade my opponents away for something else. We then have Thriller Story Reading, a 4-cost content that has 7 influence. When played, if this card is on an independent platform, you move all opposing content cards from this platform to another platform. I've got 2 independent platforms in my deck, but I know there are some decks that play independent platforms, so that's a nice counter to them. We then have 1 Oversized Thighs, only 1. Costs 4, 6 influence. You can move one opponent's popularity from another platform to this platform. So given that I'm going to be trying to dominate a platform, pulling a popularity from one of their other ones onto that platform that I'm trying to win just kind of helps remove it and slow them down a little bit. We've got a green content poggers, I think are one of our only non-purple cards. I think we've got a couple of reds at the lower end. Do we? We might just be all purples. I know that's how we started looking through, but I think we are just all purples. Yeah. Yeah, it's our only non-purple card, but it is a poggers, so we can play it, because our persona is a purple poggers champion. Persona, don't know why I said champion. So, 5 cost, 7 influence. This card costs 1 less to cast for each content you have in play. So because most of my deck is contents and I'm trying to dominate, I'm going to stack up a bunch of contents onto one platform with a couple elsewhere, which will hopefully then just make this cost nothing. Pretty good. We then have 2 copies of Vine Boom, which are contents that give 5 cost, 7 influence, and the clash reward is delete all contents on this platform with 6 or less cost. So I kind of want to be playing them away from my dominating pile to be kind of erasing my opponents. I have 2 copies of that. And then I have 2 copies of Vaseline on Toast, which is a content, 5 cost, 6 influence. While you are dominating, this gets this gives +3 influence to each adjacent platform. So this means I kind of want to be dominating the middle platform, but it's all good. I then have 1 copy of Kiss, Marry, Kill. 6 cost content, 8 influence. When played, you choose one opponent. Opponent chooses one of their content cards on this platform and you delete it. We then have 2 copies of the Mahjong tournament. If I could get a 3rd Mahjong tournament, that'd be really good. 7 cost, 10 influence. When played, if this is on an independent platform, you delete one of your opposing content. Delete 1 opposing content card on any platform. So I can use it to just slow down my opponent. I then have a Touch Grass. 7 cost content, 11 influence. When played, each opponent chooses 1 content card on this platform. Delete all other content cards on this platform. It's each player, so it's a board wipe this platform, kind of. We then have one of the big upgrades for Camille. So when played, you delete one of your opponent's content cards costing 4 or less. And it's 5 bits, 5 influence. That's kind of nice. We then have one copy of Ad Break, which is an 8 cost, 15 influence Zatsudan content. When played, delete 1 opposing non-Zatsudan content card in play. That's pretty cool. We then have 3 copies, including our con exclusive, of Craft Show, which is a Zatsudan content, costs 8. Oh, sorry, that sleeve was upside down for some reason. This was just a bit of a ramshackle pile of sleeves. Costs 8, has 20 influence, and players can't play more than 1 content card per round while this card is in play. So it really slows down my opponent if they're in, like, the Porcelain Maid deck. And then I have 1 copy of Year Zero Science. So it's a 9 cost content card with 19 influence, and your opponents can't gain popularity here. So if I want to dominate, that's the way I do it. And that is my deck. Did I unsleeve 5? Oh, I unsleeved 4. Oh, letdown. I only unsleeved 4? So I can only put sleeves. The slim fit sleeves around 4 of my... Although I suppose I only have 4 that are unsleeved. Just means I need another one. And then I need a sleeve of a different colour to put my my persona in. Because I guess that's what I'm on. That is my Camille deck. Built. Completed. That is also the 4-hour mark. So I would be tempted to stop here if I didn't have